contour higher towards south. 2 pixels down on the screen.
So in this just brief moment, I'm going to sign off and say that it's been really fun being with you all between 8 and 12 local time. And we may not have an 8 to 12 watch tonight, or we may just catch the end of the recovery of the vehicles. But either way, I'll talk to you later, at least on our next dive. Bye.
Jan and team, I am handing over to Rennie right now, and I've let him know that you are looking at which contour line you want to follow over.
Roger, thank you.
Guys, wanting to make sure his texts are coming through, so I'm just gonna let you know what we're seeing, Guy.
That's helpful
that
because when I look at HiPAC, I can't see the text.
So on side chat, Jan, when you were like, where to, Guy said a bit east into higher back scatter, and then head for 1F. And then Guy said, nope, too higher. Can you not see my texts? And then Guy said, just want to make sure we've got the text coming through. I'm seeing your text, Guy.
Yeah.
They're coming through on
I'm seeing
side
your
chat.
text, Guy, when I'm off of HiPAC. So, Guy, the contour that is at the stern of the vessel, is that the contour you want to crab across? Or do you want to go higher, which would be south in the frame of HiPAC? Hello, Argus.
This is Kirsten testing audio.
Hello, Argus. Let me go back to HiPAC, see where Argus is. Rennie, can you see where Argus is?
On HiPAC? It's right here.
Yeah.
Argus.
It's on that dark pixel, isn't it?
That is Hercules at the dark pixel.
Okay.
And then Argus is to the north.
Okay. So that's the contour. I think he wants to go across.
Follow along on the contour that Argus is on?
One deeper than where ROV is.
Okay, one deeper where ROV is. We're between 2 contours, so yeah, I can go towards the one where Argus is. We can back up and then follow that along.
Okay. Put your cursor on one of those contours, and we'll wait for Guy to send us a text.
Okay.
Your cursor is now all okay. Right there. Stop.
Sorry, there's a bit of delay, but I've been on one contour here.
Oh, okay. It's just popping all around. That's the one I wanted us to follow to higher backscatter. So I believe that is the correct contour.
Zoom out video, please. Okay. So his intent is...
And to crab over to 1F.
Okay. We can do that.
Okay. So I'm going to sign off.
Zoom in just a hair. A little bit more. How's that?
But
good. Yeah, thank you.
Letting Erica know that we need at least 2 more, preferably three or 4 more hard substrates. So we're really looking hard for hard rugose substrate for a few more transects. We have plenty of mixed substrates, and we could use one more soft, but the preference is hard rugose. So right now we're looking for hard rugose like what we saw at the beginning of your shift last night. That would be our preference. But the modeling and the backscatter are a little off, and we're doing the best we can to try and find hard rugose. And
Thanks,
so,
Kirsten.
okay. And I think the sample spreadsheet is up to date. And Gary has not been on, but Meredith will also provide some input on specimen collection if needed. And just a little bit of time management. We do need to be on deck at 8 p.m. I think we have plenty of time to finish our entire transect over at 1H. So okay to explore, but hopefully we'll
Swim in
find
there.
some more wonderful rugose hard substrate.
Roger, we'll do our best to find it.
Okay,
Roger that, Jen.
thanks guys.
Thanks, Jen.
Thanks, Jen. Thanks, Jen.
Sure.
Okay, I'm gonna back Argus off about 20 meters to the north, and then that will put Herc at the contour line we ideally will be following, so then we'll go east from there. So we'll back off downslope just a bit, drop down a bit in vertical in depth, and then we will head east. Bridge nav. Two 0 meters north. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Can you tell me how my audio is? This is a new mic.
Sounds good.
Sounds really good.
All right. Well, it was hard to go to sleep last night, having such a quiet shift, and then right in the last 30 seconds running into those rocks and a bunch of species of coral.
Yeah, we were kind of a delivery watch there.
Yeah, we were.
There was still great stuff along the way.
There was absolutely.
Hi, this is Erica. I am on the line. Is Jan still on the line? I am not on Live Nautilus, just SPL. Can anyone hear me?
We can hear you.
We can hear you.
So Jan might
I
be
don't
gone.
think Jan is gone.
Okay, so I missed the debrief. Jen's told me a
Okay.
little bit on the phone. So I am, like I said, I'm not on Outlaws Live. I'm just on SPL. If you could fill me in, that'd be great.
Yeah, so Jan mentioned that we have enough mixed substrate transects. And so we are really looking especially for hard transects, and we could do one other soft.
Okay, and right now are we moving? Or are we just standing by until the next direction?
So I'm moving the ship north just 20 meters. Guy suggested a contour to follow, and we are about one contour 10 meters above that. So backing up downslope once the ship moves, and then we'll be moving east towards F, following this contour here that you can see on HiPAC, and eventually we'll make our way to F. So we'll decide how we want to get to F, but we want to keep following this contour or just depart and go there.
That sounds great. Thanks, Rennie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll come online
Zoom in
now.
wider.
Yeah, thank you. That's good.
Good afternoon, everybody. We just did a shift change. Perhaps some of you have already spoken. If we can we do a little introductions? I'll start with myself. I am on the science team. This is Erica Burton from the Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary. We were moving along the north side of Pioneer Canyon, looking for some habitat to run some standardized transects. And while getting there, we'll be poking around and looking at organisms and other parts of the habitat. Kirsten?
Yeah, hi everyone. This is Kirsten Lindquist. I work for the Greater Farallones Association in very close partnership with the Greater Farallones National Marine Sanctuary on all of the research. And I am here as Science 2 position, assisting Erica.
Great. And how about those in the van? If you're able to speak at this moment, please introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Taylor Ann. I am the data logger on this watch, and I am a master's student at California State University in Northridge, and I'm here as a science manager in training, and also interested in collecting some samples for microplastics, trying to see what different concentrations and types of microplastics are in the deep sea, where they are, and if organisms are eating them.
Awesome, Taylor Ann, and we can hear you just fine.
Great.
And this is Stephen Matter in the video chair.
I am Jake Bonnet. I'm in the Argus chair. I'm also a graduate student at the University of Rhode Island and studying ocean engineering.
I'm Dan.
Cool.
Dan, taxi driver, Herc chair, or bus driver.
This
Or
is
button pusher.
Button pusher, yeah. My reputation precedes me.
This is Renato Kane. I'm in the navigator chair.
All right. Thanks, everybody. And Justin may have joined us again. Are you on, Justin?
Can you hear me? Is that coming through?
Yeah. Yes.
Great. My name's Justin Hull. I work for Greater Farallones National Marine Sanctuary, and I work as an educator. So I work on education and outreach with all kinds of school programs and public programs. And as I'm finding out, my expertise is in monitoring the science chat and all the brilliant scientists that are chiming in with identifications and hilarious comments and trying to bring those to audio.
Wonderful.
Well, thanks, everybody. I think we circled around everybody. Let's hope this is a nice 4-hour drive.
It's nice to see so many folks joining us on Science Chat. It was a quiet night last night in terms of folks on chat.
Now everyone is performing their workday. They're hopefully getting some entertainment. And we love to hear from them. They are a wealth of knowledge in our science chat. So right now we're in a soft bottom habitat. We see some sea pens, a couple species, Umbellula, and maybe, I don't know if that's Funiculina or something else. I'll have to look that up. Some anemones, thorny heads.
Like maybe Helipterus.
Yes.
So we're currently diving at just over 1,000 meters. And we are looking for some harder substrates to do our next transects on.
And we are currently in the Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary. However, we are doing a joint cruise with Greater Farallones National Marine Sanctuary, who actually manage this portion of the northern Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary. and we are here to look at fish habitat associations as well as geology, to ground truth some of our model maps and multi-beam data that we've collected previously. Justin and Kirsten, you might want to add any tidbits people would like to know about.
Yeah, I just think it's
One of
great
the-
that this expedition, we get to visit so many sanctuaries, and previous cruise was up in Olympic Coast National Marine Sanctuary off of this Washington State, then moving down south, passing through the northern part of Greater Farallones and Cordell Bank to get down to Pioneer Canyon, where we are now. And then we'll be continuing to Monterey Bay to Davidson Seamount.
Are these
and
nudibranchs?
some tar-
They
And then
are
eventually all the way to
large
Channel
sea
Islands.
slugs. Sorry, Justin, just wanted to mention these are a couple of large sea slugs or nudibranchs, the genus name Tritonia. I noticed a couple in the previous shift. It's nice to get to see them again.
Sorry.
We have
We
seen
may have
these
had some
climbing up
big
in
cases.
Zoom in a bit more there.
Sure. Thank you.
That's good. Just
Oh,
keep
that's
the
a good
lasers in the top of the screen. Perfect.
That's great. Great little neighborhood. Got a sea pen, a thorny head, and a nudibranch.
Beautiful.
We often see these nudibranchs climbing up on bamboo corals and devouring them.
Okay, you can zoom out a bit.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Justin. Just wanted to.
Yeah, that's good.
No, I
Good on the
actually
zoom.
have an eye brake for
You don't have
nudibranch
to zoom.
bumper
Oh, yeah.
sticker,
Have
so
it.
we're not so different, you and I. Yeah, no, I was just saying that then we'll be moving all the way down to Channel Islands National Marine Sanctuary as well. So that's kind of our West Coast region of national marine sanctuaries that are all interconnected by this California current and this really rich and abundant system, one of the kind of most abundant ocean systems in the world.
And different species of sea pen there that kind of occurred.
Just to let the control van and the scientists know, I'll be jumping off at 12:30 to join a daily call. Kirsten, if you could just stay on the SPL, that would be great. Okay.
Happy to.
I'll let you know when I do that. Okay, thanks. In about 10 minutes. Yeah.
Loud and clear.
You can bring your head to the
135.
Roger.
This one might be funiculina, and it's a complex that we can't tell the difference. It's either funiculina or Holypterus. But you said you're interested in a different species?
165, Roger.
And is it wider and fluffier and stouter? Is it Anthoptilum grandiflorum? Okay, so you're interested in that? Not yet, but I'll write it down to remind myself. And feel free to remind us again if we feel like we should be firing an Iskin or something if we haven't in a while. I know that they're going to do that on the way up, and there's only 4. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we are definitely we are
Taylor,
definitely doing 4 Niskins up. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Cool.
Guy's chiming in. He's saying that there's this higher backscatter looks like it's mixed.
Okay. Let's see how we are in terms of transects. We have
So
4
it
mixed
sounds
right
like,
now.
yeah, it sounds like that's the lowest priority in terms of what we should do. I think we are looking for hard, especially. Hard is the top
Okay.
priority, and soft would be second.
So scientist ashore and Guy, we have our contours are kind of stopping their east direction, and they then turn a bit southeast. We can follow them, or we can go directly to 1F, which is a little bit downslope. Eventually we'll have to go downslope anyway to get to 1F.
Okay, let me look at the backscatter here.
Sure. I'll zoom out real quick.
Guy's
I'm gonna
saying
ask
we
Guy.
probably won't find Rogos along this contour.
Okay.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't look like it. So then if our only option is mixed, is that what we do?
Sorry, I'm sending Guy a message. We'll just continue along until I hear back.
Okay, yeah, ship's still moving, we're good.
Okay. He suggests we could either go a little shallower in the high backscatter or go to F. Why don't we have some time? So rather than heading straight to 1F, what if we head up a little bit to some of this higher backscatter,
Sure.
just above the way we're going now?
Above upslope south,
Like
or
up
above north downslope?
upslope.
Upslope.
Just go up a contour,
Sure.
maybe 1 or 2.
Sure, I see this high
Let's-
backscatter area here that is southwest of 1F. But we could head upslope
Okay,
and then track along to there and then go down to 1F if you think we have time.
that sounds good.
Okay. All right, when this
Yeah,
ship move is
yeah,
complete,
go-
which it almost is, we'll head south.
Yeah, Guy suggested south-southeast and then head southeast towards 1F.
Roger.
I think that's what you're proposing. Thanks, Rennie.
Yep, I'll go 60 meters south. 185. Bridge nav. 60 meters, 185.
Again, I'm surprised we're not seeing more sea cucumbers. Have you seen any?
Oh,
No, not since we've been on watch. Last night at those rugose bits, the rocky bits at the end of our shift, there were a lot of polytherians on the rock that was pretty busy, but not here.
I am surprised to see so many Tritonia.
they're big ones too.
Yeah.
So that beautiful lacy egg casing was probably a Tritonia egg casing that are
Right.
expensive.
Yeah. Some sort of gastropod. That one that was under the, I don't know if that was a rock or a shell or a ledge with his antenna, or they're not antenna, but poking out. That was probably it, right?
Mm. Erica, while you are off on your meeting, shall we just keep transiting, looking for a spot, or shall we, did you want to
Yes.
start a transect? Just keep looking.
Well, keep looking, and if you get to some hard substrate, and continue to listen to what Guy's sharing on Science Chat. And then if there's something good, yeah, start a transect. And of course, if you see
All right,
something
so-
interesting to collect, go ahead and do that. I
Thank
think we
you.
have some time. We've made some really good progress on this entire link waypoint. That is most likely a Pacific grenadier, Acrolepis, Corphonoides acrolepis, very common around here. Could also be Philipper, Corphonoides philipper, the filamented grenadier. They look very similar in video.
Is that,
Erica, you
is
have
that
some
one of the
history.
species?
Yeah, you have history with grenadier, don't you, Erica?
I do. It was my thesis subject when I was at Moss Landing Marine Labs. I conducted an age and growth study of the giant grenadier, and hopefully we'll see some giants out at Davidson Seamount or here. So I looked at their ear bones and cut them in cross section and counted their growth rings. And then to validate what those growth rings meant, were they laying down annual growth rings or what? I looked at naturally occurring radium that they take up, just like they take up calcium. Calcium and radium behave the same chemically. And that naturally decaying radium decays into polonium. There's a whole decay series, but by looking at the decay series, you can really get at true periodicity of the growth rings. So yeah, the giant grenadier gets to over 50 years old. The Pacific grenadier is probably 70 years or older. So some of these fish down here could be as old as your parents or grandparents. It's quite amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. And the corals can be even older than that, hundreds of years old, which is mind-boggling to me. Okay, guys, I'm going to drop off. Yeah.
Okay, thank you,
ahead.
Erica.
Okay, yeah, I'll drop off. I'll be back in a few.
Okay. Some species of fish can only be identified with looking at those ear bones. Most easily identified looking at those ear bones are called otoliths. But like Erica mentioned, they are also by looking at the growth rings of those those tiny little ear bones, you're able to get age.
Okay, we're just about to complete this move. I think the idea then is to go southeast, kind of towards these bright spots. But I'll wait for that to happen because Argus still has a bit of swing, and we're going to interrogate this high backscatter area here. But it's not looking like there's much on our sonars. We picked that out last night pretty good from those. We saw those boulders from pretty far out.
Okay. So you're really not picking anything up?
No, it's pretty flat.
Okay. So we'll head south a little bit across a couple of these contours and then southeast a little bit through that pale area. Yep.
Yeah, and then from there we'll drop down to 1F.
Downhill. Okay. So those of you who are just joining us, we are transiting, looking for ideal habitat for a new transect. So we are here trying to collect standardized effort-based data, video data, where we consistently move at a similar altitude off the seafloor, at a similar speed, and without changing the zoom of the camera. And we continue for 150 meters. And so that is, we're looking for a spot that is rocky or rugose. We're not finding any right now, which is why we are kind of poking around. If we see anything of interest to anyone on Science Chat, we will stop and take a look at it.
From Guy, we're hearing just go southeast from here.
Bridge nav. 1 step 50 meters, bearing 150. Thank you. Yeah, just head to this bright spot.
About 150.
Guy approves. He just said yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Right. Yeah, I didn't know if we wanted to look at this stuff that was a bit more west, but we didn't see anything in sonar, so off we go.
We have some great experts on our Science Chat who are helping guide the selection of where we may go do a transect. So we have Guy Cochran on from USGS, who is reading the ship's feeds and communicating through us with the navigator about where we might go to find the habitats that we are interested in. So throughout the course of a dive, we try to sample the variety of different habitat substrates. So we're looking at soft bottom, which is what we're looking at right now. We also can have mixed substrate, which is a mixture of soft and rugose habitat, so hard. And then the third category is rugose. So we are tracking the transects that we've completed so far on this dive, and so we've been diving for about 12 hours. We have done, we have a good sample size of soft bottom habitat like this, which is why we aren't conducting a transect right now. So we are looking for either the, actually we could do one more soft. We've had enough mixed bottom habitat. We're looking for rugose, but so far we are not seeing any quite in this area, but we have time. We have enough bottom time, so we are kind of poking around. Occasionally, folks on the science chat will chime in and ask us to take a look at something. And you never know what you're going to see.
And we have also, besides Guy, we have other specialists, coral specialists, we even have people who specialize reviewing these standard effort transects that Kirsten was mentioning and have spent hours, days, weeks, months of their lives watching feeds just like we're watching right now, and who are joining along and bringing their expertise. I love that you were talking, Kirsten, about standard effort. Sounds like we're not trying very hard, just like we're bringing our standard effort, but the idea, right, is that you want to kind of have a consistent measure so you can compare one series, one transect to another.
That was the mushroom coral back there.
Oh, yep, on the right. Kind of reddish pinkish in color. So some of the target species we're most interested in are the coral species. So the mushroom coral that we just passed. These sea pens are related to corals as well. So these are these small stalks just sticking up, some of them with their polyps out into the current feeding. A couple of different species. And Luella is up at the top here right now.
There we go. A little bit better.
And Justin, to get back to what you're saying, I'm guessing Caitlin has probably actually spent years of her life reviewing this data to call out one person.
It definitely comes up in conversation if you meet her. You find out pretty quickly that she has spent a lot of time reviewing it. It's pretty exciting.
So we have two species of thorny heads that we've been seeing. For example, these two fish we just saw, one is much larger and one is much smaller. We often, for the sake of conversation, make assumptions that the larger of the two is most likely the, I'm just spacing right now. Is that the short spine? Have quite a few grenadier swimming in and out of view. So since we've been diving for 12 hours, we've seen a variety of habitats. We've definitely seen some rocky areas with a number of species of coral. Seen black bamboo coral.
Bridge nav.
Got some great samples last night.
Let's step another 20 meters bearing 150. See if we get anything here. Otherwise, I think the move will be to step a bit east, still staying in this brighter patch, and then eventually hopping down to 1F. But the slope is not going to be significant. I think we'll be able to watch the bottom the whole time down. No, it doesn't seem so.
Guy concurs. Can see signs of a lot of bioturbation here, a lot of holes in the soft sediment. If we were closer, you might see arms of brittle sea stars reaching out. They may be worms, any number of things.
So Kirsten, you were saying that the transects were kind of looking for the most, or those rocky boulders that are kind of ideal habitat for corals and sponges.
Sorry, say that again. I was just reading something.
Oh, I was just saying that you mentioned that the transects were really after at this point, since we have some mixed habitat and we have some soft bottom habitat, as that rugged boulders that we can see that's kind of ideal habitat for corals and sponges. So that's kind of what we're after, hopefully, in the next couple hours.
Yeah, that's right.
So on cliff edges or canyon flanks. Found a little bit of that in the early morning shift, I think, around 7 a.m. this morning. I saw some of that when I was tuning in.
If anyone noticed, that larger eel pout up in the top right corner a moment ago was a 2-line eel pout. Thanks, Tom.
Okay, I called in that east move. I think we'll still be going southeast for another 20 or so meters while Argus catches up, and it'll then start to swing east. Not seeing anything here in our sonar that indicates anything but a flat bottom.
Want me to come around and match the heading of the ship move? Okay.
When I tuned in this morning, there was some excitement with untangling the tether. Does anyone know what was going on there?
I think Dan might know.
I know nothing. I was leaving.
Yeah, that's all I heard as well. It's just that they had a, it looked like maybe the tether popped through the daisy chain and was sticking out in a loop. So they had to get that out, and we're meant to keep an eye on it.
Pretty fascinating to watch. Watch the pilots figure out how to communicate and untangle such a situation so that we can keep moving.
Do you think that's fascinating? You should have seen when we were tangled in some fishing gear last cruise.
Oh, I did.
Oh.
I did see that. I've been watching you all.
Oh, thanks. I feel seen.
Yeah, as far as I remember, I think it took two different knives to work your way out of there.
Yeah.
Has the slope changed a little bit here?
Haven't seen too much of a slope change. It's been about the same gradient, but it has kind of changed angle a bit.
Okay.
And then with this east move, we'll be going down slope a bit. But it's going to take a little bit to feel it. And then if y'all agree here, after this east move, we will then go northeast towards F, which is down a gentle slope, but I don't see any other backscatter targets to interrogate before we head there.
Guy agrees.
Okay, thanks, Guy.
So down at these depths, we
Roger.
are down at about 1,000 meters. Oxygen saturation is 1.7%, which is very low. We have a limited suite of fish species compared to higher surface waters. These are fish species that can handle the lower oxygen levels. So the thorny heads, the grenadiers are some of our most common. The eel pouts, some flatfish. So on chat right now, Guy is talking about ground truthing. So when we collect backscatter data, mapping data, we don't always know exactly what we're going to find, even though we've collected quite a lot of information about the shape of the seafloor. So coming down to actually ground truth, we're seeing less, I think, steep rocky habitat than we may have expected. Guy, is that right? So in this location, Guy concurs that that is true. That we have seen some great coral habitat, some rocky substrate earlier in the dive. So this is an area that opened to bottom trawling earlier this year. And one of the reasons why we are here is to collect data on what is here, what communities are here, especially of coral and sponges. Some of our coral species are incredibly long-lived and take a long time to establish and are very sensitive to activities like bottom trawling.
Yeah.
By collecting the standardized effort data, we're able to compare between years, coming back to dive here another time in this general area. We can get a sense for changes over time. Justin, go ahead.
I was going to say, since sanctuaries protect habitats like from things like oil drilling or pollution, or altering the seabed, we're really interested in making sure that these habitats are here for a healthy ocean, a healthy ecosystem. But we work with our partners who manage the fisheries, provide this kind of data, which is, I think, really important for them to know. So if areas are opened up for trawling on the bottom, then we have some sense of where the areas are that are soft and where the areas are that might need more protection and have more fragile species and habitat.
So we've been talking a bit about backscatter for people listening. So we collect backscatter data concurrent with while we're collecting multibeam data. So we send sound through the water column, and we measure the time of flight, how long it takes via the sound speed of water at that given time to reach the bottom or a hard surface and reflect back, and we're listening for that. And so based on that time of flight, we can tell the distance from our ship to the seafloor, but also collected in that is the intensity of the return. So we kind of have an idea of if it hit something harder, like a denser layer or even a rocky layer, or if it hit a muddy bottom. But there's other factors like slope that kind of matter as well with how you're getting that return. And also it's kind of relative to those around it. What we're seeing here is just, if you're looking at the channel 3, the white values, the lighter values are higher intensity returns, and the darker are lower intensity. But really, they're kind of scaled to what's around it. And so what Guy was saying about ground truthing, it's kind of critically important because although the intensity of that data is always correct, that's what we observed, the interpretation of what that means is dependent on the seafloor itself. So I mentioned before, sometimes we'll come down, we'll see a beautiful backscatter pattern indicating some really complex geology and great layering. But when we get down there, it's just all covered in sediment. And so what's happening there is that acoustic pulse is actually penetrating that layer of sediment and reflecting back harder in some spots, whether it's, say, rocky or just under the sediment, or softer where it's muddier under that. So yeah, the importance of getting down there, the ground truth. And we've had some luck. So individual pixels oftentimes at this depth don't really provide the type of resolution to know if there's something rocky, but in a larger patch, as we saw last night, that was indicative of a harder bottom.
All right, this is Erica. I am back partially. My computer crashed, so I will be fully back in a minute. How are things going?
Good. Looking about like this since you've been gone, and not too much on the horizon in terms of your growth habitat. Jan has just signed off. We've been talking a little bit about backscatter data and ground truthing.
Okay. I'm going to continue to get my computer back up and running, and I'll start chatting again in a minute.
I mean, technically,
Bridge nav. Let's do one more step, 50 meters at 050.
Continuing to see a couple of species of sea pens, at least. Couple of thorny head.
So for people that are just tuning in, we're headed to the beginning of another transect line. We know it is 1F. That's a waypoint and destination that we're heading towards, in hopes that we find some rugose habitat, kind of rocky habitat,
bit of rockiness up there,
edge of canyons, cliffs. Here we go.
Roger that.
More rocky.
Hey, sure. So what we're seeing right now along this is Dan is facing north west right now, and we're seeing kind of this habitat here in front of us, stretch on for around 50 meters in our sonar. I don't know if we want to pause here or just mark it, head down to 1F and be able to come back in case we want to transect here. It's up to you.
Did you say 50 meters?
Yeah, it looks like it. We're seeing just a bit of roughness in the sonar 50 meters out. Same as what we're seeing in front of us.
If we have a moment, it'd be great to get some great imagery of these crinoids.
Sure. Bridge nav.
Maybe
So it
Taylor
looks
Ann
like
can
we're
mark it.
looking.
Yep, I've got a lot of
Let's hold
screen grabs
position.
going on right now of all these crinoids. Oh, look at that, some holothurians.
I might need to circle back here. Let's see how far you've gotten.
So a couple different colors of holothurians. Sea cucumbers now on the left.
Bridge
Some
nav.
pom-pom anemones, and one down on the right.
20 meters, 225. Backtracking a little bit and we'll get.
And all these crinoids who really like to be attached to hard substrates. So it looks like we're looking at a contour panel parallel with bedrock.
Is there anything you guys want to look at here while we're waiting to we're redirecting the vessel? I can shout out and we'll give you close-ups.
It looks like there
Yeah,
might be a free swimming crinoid right down below. Maybe.
Sorry, say again. Crinoid?
Looked like one was starting
Yeah,
to
zoom in.
swim.
If we could zoom in on just some of this bedrock and see, take a look at the crinoids, and maybe there's an anemone,
Sure.
just any sort
At
of
the end of your leash there.
glamour shot.
Roger the glamour shot.
Yeah, I'm bringing Argus back, so hopefully you'll be alleviated from that tether pull.
Okay.
But we are in a bit of water, 1,000 meters of water, so it might take a little.
Want me to take off my auto heading so I don't fight it?
Sure. And
Is
come
our
down
porch light on?
5 meters too.
Yep. Roger.
Can
Looks like it.
zoom in there on something, Steve. How about this guy to start? Zoom right in.
Dan, is our porch light on? I feel like we're a little bit shadow here.
Yeah, we can check on the lighting
I believe
situation.
porch light is off. But
Yeah, you can turn the porch light on. Maybe open the iris just a bit for him there. It'll be dark on their monitors.
Yeah, so we're seeing a cucumber, anemone, and there might be a little hard coral right left of center. It's a little purple round radial object. And then to the right of the cucumber is some cucumber poop. Everybody poops. And some brittle stars, one hanging onto that sea pen.
Looks like a little skeleton shrimp just on the edge of the screen, center gone.
And then as you pan, there's a crinoid on that little ledge. And so you said this environment here is only about 5 meters long.
No, I was saying that we've got 50 meters where it appears to be continuing. Just basically this ridge seems to go on for a little bit on either side of us crossing it.
Zoom in a bit more if you want, Steve.
Coming in.
Yeah, roger.
Let's full zoom.
Perfect, thank you. You're pulling me.
Sorry.
Well,
That's
you
all
can
right.
move out.
You're good. You can hold something there.
shrimp down to the left of this crinoid.
Looks like there's a bunch of caprellids, these little red things that are floating above the crinoid, spanning the screen.
Huh.
I think those are all caprellid amphipods.
They're fighting.
They're